Hey everybody, 50 Plus here. It is Q&A time. Tubiest of the tubiest. The best YouTube subscribers on the planet. That's you. And I'm 50 plus. So today, obviously I'm still at home, the familiar background back there. So I'm going to start with the first question I received. The first question I'm going to answer. And it was, am I home by choice or is there a freight issue? That's what I've been asked a couple times in different ways, but basically the question is, how's the rate of freight? And am I getting the miles at Melton? And the fact is, I hadn't noticed any difference. Since all of this virus stuff cranked up, I've noticed no different in the rate of freight or what I receive on my check versus the hours I make, you know. I'm trying to log in here. Anyways, I felt no difference in the freight. I seen no difference. And I kind of got a little worried about it. I was thinking, you know, if anything comes down to it, you know, flatbed freight maybe, you know, the one that doesn't need, is not as crucial as dry van or refrigerated freight, you know. But that just hadn't been the case. We've been running the whole time. Melton has done a very good job keeping us informed about the rate of freight and, you know, what to expect and that sort of thing. And I only came home because it would have been about 6 weeks between the last time I came home and the time I come home for Easter. And, you know, I just don't want to be out that long anymore. I just don't. And you know, I know that's not a long time for a whole lot of guys. They're out for months and months and months at a time. Then they go home for, you know, a brief period and get back out there and they're gone for months and months and months again, you know. But I don't want to be neglectful to my responsibilities at home. So I'm coming back, okay? That's just a fact. Plus, hell, I miss being home, you know. I am home. Just a second. I'm almost there, guys. I'm going to answer some more of your questions. So, another question was one that I guess I should have answered with the live yesterday, and that is, what's the good, the bad, and the ugly? This is the way it was. The question was proposed to me of Melton. And you guys know me. I'm just not a negative guy. So the bad and the ugly has got to be tremendously horribly bad or ridiculously ugly before I make a big deal out of anything, because life has challenges. Life has problems, and it's life is a series of problems that you solve and then you die. That's about it. You know, that's the truth, though. I mean, life has its hurdles. And the only thing that I would have changed, but not for me, would have been the length of time that you spend in training and load securement. Even though you are an experienced driver, if you're not experienced in flatbed like I was not, after you get your, you know, week-long training of load securement in, you know, the perfect environment on the yard, then you go out there and start doing your thing. You have a clue. You have a foundation because they've given that to you in training. But it's a little bit different when you get out there and start doing it, actually putting that training into action. If you're not a people person, you could be in trouble. Or if there's not someone around that you can ask questions about, you're in trouble. And Melton does really good. And other companies do as well. I'm just not gonna sound like, well, he's a company man, but because other companies do it too, because when I know what I'm going to pick up, I might look at a few videos on YouTube, and they may be from other companies, and Melton has load securement videos as well, and I watch those first because they have a standard in which they want their loads secured, and I definitely want to abide by a company policy. But I watch other companies' videos as well because it's sometimes more than one way to skin a cat, and you're not going to get in trouble over securing something. Okay, and sometimes the ease of doing it makes the process a lot safer, okay, so to speak. But when you can get out with a trainer right out of the orientation and out of the little yard training, and even if you spent a week with a trainer going about 3 loads, securing and tarping 3 loads at least, with someone else, when you get out off that guy's truck, at least you would have a little bit more, you would feel more confident that you're doing it right, okay? Because if we screw it up, man, you can kill some folks. You lose a load in the road, you can kill somebody. Bottom line. And, it's not like, whatever can go wrong in the drive-in. It's a little bit different. Can you hurt people in the drive-in? Without a doubt. Of course you can. But to lose your load with a flatbed, steel coils, you don't put no chains on there, slam on the brakes, you can really mess some folks up. So that training and that, on the yard is extremely important, but you get a little anxiety when you show up and then you got these 24,000 pound steel coils that you have to secure. Rolling suicide, and then, I was pretty confident because I paid attention in class. They have videos online. I watched them all. They all securing about the same. And there was other guys there getting steel coils. And I helped somebody secure theirs. And I asked them, I said, listen, this is my first time getting coils. Can I help you do yours? And, basically I'm not going to get in your way. I just want you to tutor me along the way. To them, you are a second hand that they don't have to pay. Come on, hell yeah. And I learned from them, and I know that they're not doing it. I'm not doing it wrong. They're not teaching me wrong because I've already watched Melton's videos on how they want it done. And I went to the class and they taught me how to do it, right? But it's a difference in real world scenario and you're getting your hands dirty. And so if there was anything that I would change about my experience so far with Melton, it would just be maybe a week with a trainer, okay, on the road. Am I glad I didn't have to do that? Oh my God, hell yes, I'm glad I didn't have to do that. So I don't want to do it. Damn it, I don't want to go with nobody else, man. Come on. I've been doing it enough that I don't want to be on truck with somebody else. But that week of pain could save you a lifetime of sorrow. Okay. Everything else throughout the trucking process with Melton has been spectacular. It really has. And I know you heard me say the same thing about Swift, and it's just that, man, I have been, touched by the trucking gods or something, man. I ain't gonna lie. If they shit on me, I'll say they shit on me. But I just ain't had that type of situation. I just hasn't. And my the driver leader, she's really nice. She's not a former driver, thank goodness. The worst ones, and I'm just gonna say it, the worst driver leaders out there are those not people who have driven before. No, the million milers. Those are the problems. The ones that think they hung the moon when it comes to trucking, but still learning. Ain't that the dumbest shit you ever heard? I hear guys tell me, I've been driving for 4 or 5 years, now I'm still learning. You are a dumbass son of a bitch. If you've been doing the same shit for 45 years and you still don't know how to do it, somebody needs to slap a shot at you and you need to quit. Bottom line, don't say that stupid shit to me. But then they become driver leaders because they don't want to drive anymore or can't drive anymore or whatever. And then they want to tell you what you're doing wrong. And it just makes up for a complicated situation. So I am so glad. And I'm telling you, I've never had a former driver as a driver leader. I can only tell you the frustrations that other drivers tell me about it. And I've had Melton drivers tell me they're frustrated with their driver leader, but they don't want to leave the company because they like the company. They just wish they was on a different driving fleet. Then they asked me who my driver leader was. I tell them, what fleet I'm on, and I said my driver leader is super cool, and but she's never been a driver before. She's just a problem solver, and you can probably put her in any situation, and she's gonna figure out how to solve the problem. That's what you're looking for, and sometimes drivers are the problem. We have to be able to work with us and handle that. And that's the problem. That's what driver leaders face every day. And sometimes we truck drivers don't make their job easy. And so it builds up and builds up and builds up in them, and sometimes they take it out on us, the driver. So driver leaders are important, and so they can make or break your experience no matter what company you go with. And I've just been fortunate that I've had 2 driver leaders. They're both female. Neither one of them drove. And they were both freaking the best. Awesome driver leaders. In Swift and then the one that I have here at Melton. So my experience may not be like yours. I can tell you, if you could get on my fleet with my driver leader, then you're gonna be all right. And they keep me running. Melton keeps me running, and I'm enjoying it. And I've told you guys a story about in my live. I told you right at the beginning. I talked to y'all about these two Mexican guys that I met. I trolleyed their load, so I repowered their load. They brought it in from Mexico, and it was untarped when it got there, but it had to be tarped so I could take it to the final. And so they have a deal there at the El Paso and the Laredo terminal. The guys who bring it over, you give them $20 and they'll tarp the load for you. And so I gave them $20 and they tarped it for me. And it looked like they poured, shrink wrapped, whatever you want. I mean, they had their load tight. And I have always had, I say always, I've only been doing this for 3 months, but so I tend to have to make adjustments to my tarp as I'm driving it down the road. So I take off, and within the first 50 miles, I'm looking to see, where my flaws are, so that I can, when I pull over to reach, tighten up the straps, I add more bungees or, readjust the tarp a little bit. And so I watched these guys, and they was on it. But they were doing a couple of other trucks there too. So I just said, hey, I want to watch you do this, because I want to learn. And of course, that sounded to them like, because they speak zero English, right? But he understood what I wanted, which was to watch them tarp. And then, he told me, come on, and when it was time to do some things, he let me come in there. And then when I wasn't doing right, no. And then he showed me the right way, and the way he showed me was clear in my head. Even though he wasn't speaking English, it was clear the reason why he was doing it different. And so I learned a lot from these guys. on strapping techniques and tarping techniques. And the next time on my following load, previous to meeting them, it would take me a little over 2 hours to strap and tarp. Maybe more than that, depending on how many straps I had to throw and how many tarps I had to throw. But I thought I was moving pretty good, and I'd gotten it down 3 tarps down to about 2 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes at the most, depending on weather. After them guys schooled me, they took my ass to tarp school. Hear me? I threw 3 tarps, took me 45 minutes to secure them down, a bungee done. So, yeah, big difference. So my experience with Flatbed has been fantastic. My experience with Melton has been fantastic. The only thing that I would have changed, and it's not a negative, it's just something that I would change, would be, you know, a little more time training with load securement. And I don't think they can do it on a yard. It's only so much that you can do simulated, you know? It's a little bit different when you're under a little pressure. You know, I'm at a shipper and I got, you know, a load of shingles back there I think secure and tarp, and you know, I'm slow at tarping and I'm slow at securement, and there's trucks behind me that are, you know, impatient. Well, they're not impatient, they're done. They want to move, they're on DOT time. You know, and I'm getting in, I see them behind me and they're finishing up, and then I'll tell them, hold on a minute, and I'll go pull up a little bit so they can scoot around me, you know, and you know, it just is what it is, you know. Anyways, let me see if I can find another question for you guys. But, you know, as far as good and the bad and the ugly with Melton, you know, I just can't really say that I have much negative, man. I've had a really good time. How much time we're in? Almost 20 minutes already with me rambling on just a couple of questions. King Cobra. So King Cobra wanted to know how many miles I'm doing. He's considering coming to Melton. Bro, you should already be here. Come on. I think my lowest week was it was only like 1 load, because it was a week that I took home time. So this week has only got 1 load on it, but I'll go back in the morning and I'll take a load over the weekend, you know, 1,500 miles or something like that, and I'll still end up with 2,000 miles and had 3 days off. Okay, but I generally average between 3,200 miles, something like that. Okay, so that's what his question was: how many miles? If he comes over to Melton, do I think he's going to get the miles? Hell yeah, you're going to get the miles. If you got, you know, I always correct people when they say, do they give you miles? They don't give you shit. Nobody give you nothing. You got to run them, you know. And I don't anticipate them saying that they don't want to run. So, King Cobra, I'm not saying that you saying you don't want to run. I'm just telling others that it's the money is here to be made, man. But you got to be on that. You know, you got to be ready to run them. Let's see here. I'm almost done with this video. I'm just going to do a couple more little questions here. I know this is kind of a rambling type of video, but Frank the trucker, he's going with Swift, and he was interested in whether or not I could mentor him or not, until he realized that I'm not with Swift anymore. But I do want to make sure that you understand, Frank, that the choice you made to go with Swift was not a bad one, okay? Anybody asked me about my experience with Swift, it was absolutely fantastic. I made a shitload of money, and I had a cakewalk. My situation, you know, You know, you know how some people say your experiences may vary, whatever. You know, those disclaimers and shit. You know, my experience may be different from yours. You know, but I think they knew who I was, and you know, my experience is really good. For instance, when I finished mentoring, they asked me if when I was taking my first student. I said, well, you know, I got this older truck. I'm gonna wait until it's a 16 a Freightliner. I said, I'm gonna wait till this truck goes out of the, get on the trade list. And when they get me a new truck, then I'll have a new truck. Then I'll take a student on there. That way, you know, when I have the cameras and stuff in there, make videos, then it will be a new truck, not make videos with this, you know, with this older truck. In that same second, they said, go pick you out a new truck right now. So it's that kind of thing, man. They made sure I had what I needed to be successful and continue to do what I was doing. And so my experience may be a little bit different from yours, because on the last live, the one before the one I just did yesterday, I invited someone who did not have such a positive experience, because I kind of want you guys to see the other sides. I mean, I always show this big positive things, but maybe there are some other sides of it that need to be expressed as well. Okay, you know, if I'd have finished the year out, I finished I left Swift in the end of October, right before Halloween. But if I'd have finished out, I made over $100,000. My first full 12 months with Swift Transportation as a solo driver. In reality, you guys should expect to do about between $50,000 and $60,000 your first year. So what I did was incredibly. I don't think you'll be able to hit that. Matter of fact, I know you can't, because I was able to start mentoring in 3 months, and it's either 6 or 9 months now. So that already takes 3 months at least of mentoring monies that you would not receive. So I'm just kind of filling you in a little bit. Just curious, so you're getting a lot of miles. Okay, that was Big Herb. I had a friend that graduated with a classmate, and his name was Big Herb, and he was a clown just like me. But anyways, he says, and I'm glad, and I'm going to end it with this one, okay? He says, just curious if you're getting a lot of miles with all of this coronavirus going on, because a lot of other YouTuber people saying that a lot of companies are laying people and cutting hours. So, Big Herb, and all the rest of y'all, don't. What you see on YouTube, take with a grain of salt. This used to be a platform of, you know, information, you know, like how-to stuff, right? DIY type of deal, until everybody starts doing their thing. And for the most part, you're successful on YouTube if you have good information that you're trying to pass on to people to help them, or you skew the other way, and you can be successful on YouTube if you're full of drama. And it's easier in trucking to be full of drama. Why? It's because I can only make so many videos on how to slide a tandem. You know, I can only make so many videos on you know, how a DOT clock works. Well, I take that back. I can do a whole bunch of different videos with that son of a bitch, and there'll still be somebody going, you know. But you get my point. You know, it can kind of get a little monotonous at times, and so a lot of YouTubers they go to the other side, the extreme side of, you know, negative and, you know, drama-ish type of shit, and to say that somebody's laying off and closing the doors and you know, the sky is falling and all that shit is sales. And but I won't say that it's untrue in all scenarios. Okay, there's trucking companies, and you guys watch them. Celeron, whatever the hell the name of that company was, they closed. It ain't had shit to do with a coronavirus, right? So just because a company is closing right now, laying off right now, doesn't mean that it's always got to do with coronavirus. Okay? You know, several companies closed last year before the end of the year, and it had nothing to do with coronavirus. Okay, that I just put it to you that way. So the shit that you hear on negative ass bullshit you hear on YouTube, then you know, take it as what it is. Somebody trying to tell you something, okay? If you want some steady hours, you want some good money, come on over here, buy some flatbed. Get ready to sweat and drink a bunch of Gatorade and water, get your hands dirty, fingernails and everything. You know, but you're gonna make some money and Melton's gonna keep you running. And they're gonna put you in some damn good ass equipment. Okay, if you got any questions, put them down below. I'm about to go see my dad, and then I'm gonna get the hell out of here and go to my truck, get on the road, start burning some fuel. Deliver undistracted, Nubiist. Here's your boot. Yeah, boot.